For those of you who haven't watched Season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen, don't worry, because this new season actually starts in the past, long before the events of Season 1. We begin with a young sorcerer named Suguru Geto, walking through the streets, searching for ghosts and other paranormal entities. He talks about how busy his summer has been, because curses never stop appearing. Suddenly, in an alleyway, Suguru spots a ghoul happily feeding on a human body. Without hesitation, he uses his sorcery, blue flames erupt and completely burn the ghoul. After defeating it, Suguru consumes a small blue orb, the result of his cursed technique. He reflects on his past, saying that something happened before, and maybe he should have chosen to save people as a sorcerer. Elsewhere, three female sorcerers are discussing an abandoned mansion. This place once belonged to a wealthy family, but after a mysterious incident, it was deserted, and now it's believed to be haunted. Many high school and college students come here as a test of courage. Recently, however, something more serious happened. 3 elementary school students went missing while walking home. The sorcerers believe investigating this mansion might reveal the truth. They arrive at the mansion, now overgrown with weeds and shrubs. The entire place looks eerie and unsettling. 2 of the women, Yuji Itadori and Mei, decide to go inside. The interior is just as creepy as expected. Yuji is clearly nervous, but Mei appears calm and experienced. She walks in confidently, and Yuji follows. Mei hands Yuji a flashlight, mentioning that she doesn't need one herself. Surprisingly, when Yuji flips the switch, the electricity still works. They decide to split up and investigate separate floors, which, honestly, is never a good idea in a place like this. Yuji explores alone, visibly scared. She enters a room with a hanging noose, then checks several others, but finds nothing. Suddenly, she hears a strange scratching sound coming from under a bed. When she looks underneath, 3 rats suddenly rush out toward her, the scariest thing imaginable. Terrified, she runs out into the hallway, gasping for breath, only for Mei to suddenly grab her from behind, scaring her even more. After calming down, they start observing their surroundings more carefully. Mei points out something strange: snack wrappers, soda cans, a backpack, even a pair of pants. She explains that she's already seen these exact same items 3 times, even though she's been walking in a straight line. Earlier, she marked a wall, but somehow, that same mark has appeared again in front of them. This means they're stuck in some kind of loop. Or more accurately, a curse technique is forcing them to walk the same corridor over and over again. As they continue forward, they once again arrive at the same spot. Mei concludes that this is likely caused by a cursed barrier. She suspects the wealthy family that once lived here may have died because of this very curse. Yuji gathers the snack items and arranges them in a circle to demonstrate the loop. However, she theorizes that it's not actually a circle, it's a straight path that keeps reconstructing itself as they move. If they move fast enough, they might be able to break through before the loop resets. To test this, they decide to run in opposite directions. Yuji runs to the right, and suddenly, the entire structure behind her begins to unravel. The building starts collapsing, nearly crushing her, but she manages to outrun it. Pieces of the mansion fly into the air and crash back down, forming circular patterns across the area. At that moment, a man appears and says he saved them. It's none other than a young Satoru Gojo, long before he became a teacher. Gojo casually teases Yuji, asking if she was crying, which understandably makes her furious. He adds that Mei would never cry because she's strong, which only annoys Yuji even more. As she gets up to yell at him, a massive curse suddenly appears behind her and prepares to attack. But before it can strike, Suguru arrives and summons a spirit that devours the curse instantly. Yuji is now completely embarrassed and even angrier than before. Right then, another friend arrives, Shoko Yeri, who asks if Yuji is okay. Yuji immediately runs to her and hugs her, clearly relieved. She even tells Shoko not to turn out like Gojo and Suguru. Meanwhile, Gojo and Mei discuss how he won't be around in a couple of days, for reasons Yuji doesn't understand. Mei then asks about someone named Tabari, which shocks Gojo, Suguru, and Shoko, while leaving Yutaheim confused. It turns out that Gojo, Suguru, and Shoko are second-year students at Tokyo Jujutsu High. Later, their teacher Masamichi Yaga scolds them for acting without supervision. When asked who's responsible, both Shoko and Suguru immediately point at Gojo. What great friends! Gojo gets smacked on the head as punishment. Later, the three relax on a basketball court, discussing the nature of curses. Suguru explains that curses are born from negative human emotions, and the role of sorcerers is to protect the weak and eliminate the strong threats. But Gojo disagrees. He believes that forcing ideals onto others is a sign of weakness. Shoko quickly senses tension building between them and casually walks away before things escalate. Suguru challenges Gojo to a fight, summoning a grotesque spirit behind him. Gojo looks more than ready to accept. But just then, Yaga walks in, forcing them to instantly act like best friends again. Yaga assigns them a mission, which immediately annoys both of them. The mission comes from Tengen, an immortal sorcerer who maintains the protective barriers around Jujutsu High. Yaga explains that Tengen isn't truly immortal. Instead, every 500 years, his body must be replaced to prevent him from evolving into something uncontrollable. If that evolution happens, he could become a threat to humanity. The girl they saw earlier will serve as his new vessel. However, two dangerous religious groups are also targeting her. Gojo and Suguru's mission is to protect the girl and escort her safely. Suguru takes the mission seriously, but Gojo remains completely relaxed, which irritates him. Suguru asks if he can handle it alone. Gojo refuses, but it turns out Suguru already left and reached the girl's location first. As Suguru rings the doorbell, a hidden bomb suddenly explodes, destroying the building. Inside the chaos, Suguru protects himself using a spirit. Then he notices their target, a girl named Riko Aminai, falling from the building. He quickly summons spirits to save her. Meanwhile, a man in military gear, clearly part of one of the enemy groups, enters the ruined building and tells Suguru not to take it personally. Classic villain line. Thankfully, Suguru successfully saves Riko. Down below, another enemy named Bear throws multiple knives at Gojo, but Gojo effortlessly stops them all. Bear applauds, impressed, and says he wants to test if Gojo is really as strong as they claim. Gojo casually responds that he doesn't want to go overboard because that might cause trouble. But if Bear apologizes and cries, maybe he'll let him live. That comment instantly angers Bear. Meanwhile, the second enemy group watches the fight from a distance. They decide to send in a dangerous fighter named Xenon. Subscribe for more anime recaps like this, and drop a comment. I'll pin the best one. Thanks for watching.